Our club is in the process of becoming a not-for-profit organization, which is really supposed to unite people of African descent, first here at school and also within the city of Toronto. Currently, we have a mentorship program at the Afrocentric Alternative School, which is basically, it was a way to raise up our leaders, because unfortunately, some of these young males and females, they don't have good role models, especially in low-income neighborhoods, where there's a lot of poverty, and we took it upon ourselves to enter the school and just say, look, man, we're from York University, how can we help? And that's how we started the mentorship program. Just a little bit more insight on today. Like I said, this is Adult Victory Day. On March 1st, 1896, the Ethiopians defeated the Italians, and this is why we celebrate this day. And also the flag that we have up, this is the Pan-African flag. All right, I thought it was, at a Pan-African conference, we should probably have the Pan-African flag. So it came into fruition during the 1920s with the organization, the UNIA. So the UNIA stands for the Universal Negro Improvement Association, and it was started by the Honorable Marcus Garvey. And it was an organization created to unite people of African descent worldwide. And his organization basically came up with these three colors, which the black represents people of African descent, the red represents the blood that was shed, and the green just represents the African land, our land, our continent, full of rich resources. So that's just a little bit of insight, and without further ado, I'm gonna let my brother and my mentor speak. His name is Brother Dewitt Lee, and I call him Mayor Dewitt Lee because he actually ran for mayor twice within the city of Toronto. He's a legendary community activist, and he's my mentor, and I know he's going to have a lot of great things to say. So just a round of applause for my brother.
Merci.
Mic check. All right, outstanding. Well, it's a privilege and honor to be in a room called a mentor, surrounded by my mentor. That's, I think, the circle of life. And if you don't find yourself as a mentor, surrounded by mentors, then you're missing out on a tremendous opportunity to not only receive, but to give. So with an elder in the room, I'd like to acknowledge his presence, Mr. LaRose, and ask permission from the elders to speak. Is that yes, sir? Okay, I don't want to make any mistakes here. Wow. Anytime I'm in a room with my people, my flag, it's a good day. This flag has historical significance. It's the first flag ever to fly on municipal grounds. This flag was raised on August 28th last year at Toronto City Hall, and it remained there for 4 days. For 4 entire days, the red, black, and green was dancing under the clouds, and for all people to see, and it was a statement. It was a powerful statement, and don't want to spend a lot of time getting into what all that was, but we have revolutionized the month of August. If you're familiar with Emancipation Day, we have actually extended the day to be a month now. So all of the month of August is Emancipation Month, not just here in Canada, but everywhere where the British ruled and extended basically this Slavery Abolition Act, right? So it's a worldwide movement, and I'm proud to be part of it. And many members who are here today are instrumental in us being able to successfully execute this historical moment. So today is a day that holds an incredible amount of significance for Africans worldwide. And I just want to give credit to the organizers, the young people here who had vision to make sure that Toronto was not absent, that our voice is heard, and that we are able to join in all the celebrations that's happening worldwide. This is something that Ethiopians, anywhere they live in, anywhere they are in the world today, is a moment for them to reflect and to renew their pride and their relationship with their motherland and the incredible feat that shocked the world. You know, they say Muhammad Ali shocked the world. And Muhammad Ali had nothing on Ethiopia and the victory that they had over the much well-funded, well-prepared Italians. So we have to consider the political, the social, the cultural, and historical context and the importance of the Ottawa victory, so that we can take from it a sense of pride, ownership even, power, and purpose. Today we stand 121 years removed from the historical moment when Ethiopia made a statement for all Africans and told the world in a defiant response that they would not accept colonialism and allow foreign powers from around the world to conquer them. Can we put the Ethiopian flag there? If that's okay?
Yeah.
Because that's what they were fighting for. Their victory over Italian colonialists in 1896 inspired Africans for independence from being colonized all across Africa. And this is something that is hard to measure. It's hard to measure. But there's no doubt that there was an effect that that victory had on all the other countries that had to suffer under an oppressive hand to truly believe that there was fight left in Africa. Never has Africa achieved military success on this magnitude against a foreign power. The Ethiopians benefited from several very important things to survive. Things that are accessible to you today, all. One is their willingness to strategize. We'll talk a little bit about that later. Strategize. Can't just go into every situation without a strategy, without a plan. And so they were fortunate to have leadership that understood strategy. Enough strategy where they were implementing strategy even before the attack took place. Leadership that was positioning themselves, making friends with Italy, and then making Italy feel like that they were a safe choice if they entered into rule. So this is all strategic moves that we can honor the emperors and the leadership of Ethiopia at that time. So the first was what?
Strategy.
Well, I hear one powerful voice. I want to hear everybody. The first thing they had was? Strategy. You better get some. We'll talk more about that soon. Second thing they had was sacrifice. They had sacrifice. There was a call for all men who was capable to not only go to war, but bring your woman to war with you, so she can cook for you and clean your stuff. Okay? Be prepared. That was strategy. That was strategy. Instead of sending them to war without their wives, worrying about their wives, they're going to bring their wives to war with them. Why? Because the women are capable. We need them. And that's the vision and the wisdom of the leadership, that they understood that two fleshes become one. You need her. And this is where we find ourselves default, and we find ourselves lacking, because that essential piece to our puzzle, we find a way to separate. So they're willing to sacrifice. They're willing to leave their families, leave their jobs, pick up arms, even though they weren't trained. Much of the army were not military people, but people who were willing to fight for their freedom. People who were willing to sacrifice whatever it took to succeed and maintain their home. So the second thing they had is sacrifice. Come on now. Come on, if you ain't got some, you better get some. And the third thing they had was a particular substance. This substance is called faith. They had faith that's proven over and over and over. I love reading the stories and quotes about the emperors of Ethiopia because they were faith-based people. They believed. And here we are in a society that's trying to strip us of this faith, of this relationship with God. And here is the Emperor Menelik, said in February 1890, Ethiopia needs nothing from no one. She stretches her hand to God. This is actual direct quote from Psalms. And it must have been their faith. I mean, seriously, it must have been their deep-rooted faith that allowed them to see a victory, even though they were surrounded by colonized countries. They simply refused to suffer the same fate. Their faith to advance to their foe favored them, and as a result, their flag remained. You know, today we really truly underestimate the value of what a flag means because we were never threatened to be stripped of it. For many of us who are survivors of our ancestors who have been stolen, sold, and made slaves, we were removed from our native homeland and our flag and given the flag of the oppressors to embrace. Which is why we have our flag here today, which just in a few years from now will be turning 100 years old. It's a flag that represents all of those of African descent. The flag, as you said, was founded by the UNIA, which was, of course, founded by the Honorable Marcus Garvey, who's responded to a song that existed, that every nation has a flag but the coon. You hear me? There's a song, you can Google it, you'll find it online, and it'll be prepared to be disturbed. All right, there's a song, a real song that was playing out on the radio,